season. After this, we will have all the information necessary going into the playoffs to see who's going to be where, who's going to be advancing on. We know a lot of it already, to be frank, but anyways, that next stage is going to start taking place. Of course, that happening on Tuesday. As soon as Tuesday is the playoffs will be starting. With that said, we got the grand finals here, though. You know, really a lot is on the line in the sense of at least prize pool for one, as always, of course, but also Reason Gaming going up against Sync Esports here. Reason Gaming, they're trying to defeat Sync Esports, and what would be for not only Reason's first cycle victory, but that would also be only the second time Sync had been defeated. They've won 6 of these 7 cycles so far. The only one they did lose was, of course, Cycle 4. When they lost to Bad Monkey Gaming. Anyways, the point being, it should be a pretty solid series here. Sync Esports, they will be up 1-0 as they are coming from the winner's bracket as always. So now that you're all caught up and we're good to go, let's start talking about things. But before we do, of course, joined by Mitty here. How's it going?
Hey man, yeah, I'm really looking forward to this, man. This is the final conclusion of all the cycles of Season 3, man, and what better way to actually sort of finish off with probably the 2 best teams in HON right now, and man, I can't wait. It's going to be some great games, I'm sure.
Yeah, it definitely should be. And again, if anything, if history tells us anything, you know, Reason Gaming knows how to compete against Sync Esports, not only last cycle, but even in the winter bracket finals of this cycle just yesterday. What was a 78 and 80-minute game around there. It was a crazy, crazy game. In the end, Sync Esports did come through to claim the series. But again, Reason Gaming keeps on contending against Sync Esports these last several times that they played them. So will this be the one where they break through? Obviously, this is the most difficult one because, again, they are down 1-0 here. So enough about all that, though. Let's start taking a look at the actual game and see what's happening so far. As far as things starting here, the initial bans, it was actually Tremble, Swiftblade, Ophelia, and then Behemoth, the final ban. It took them a little bit. They were actually talking a little bit back and forth, but Insania finally decided to go with Behemoth. You see the picks then. Warbeast into Dr. Repulsor, Glacius into Kraken, Tempest into Nymphora. Now that's interesting because picked up by Sync Esports, of course. Usually you would expect to see Nymphora in the hands of Reason Gaming. We have some interesting things going on here.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm wondering why Reason didn't pick up Nymphora themselves. I guess just shying away from it, perhaps expecting Sync to have maybe a counter or an answer to Nymphora picked up from Reason. So I said they decided to pick up the Tempest. But for Insania to pick up Nymphora here, I actually really like the pickup. Most likely it's going to be Nymphora or Dr. Pulsar in the short lane. We've seen that combo time and time again, and it can work incredibly well, similar to like Nymphora or Pebbles combo. And the reason why I like it in the third pick here, even more so than normally, is because there's no way that Reason can really punish it. They've got Warbeast and Tempest. I've talked about in the last series we had, they don't have ways to really sort of get aggressive. They don't have ways to really punish the laning stage here from Sync. So Sync can really, you know, play greedy with this Nymphora Dr. Repulsor Lana because they're going to send a Warbeast to their side anyway. I think they can really sort of punish it in terms of the laning phase. So yeah, really nice pick up here from Insania with the Nymphora third pick.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how that works out for them. But look at Reason Gaming getting another bit of a comfort here as of late. They get the Deadwood pickup here to go with the Tempest Glacius and, of course, that Warbeast. And, you know, Deadwood already a hard hitter with the Hatchet especially and the Logafist, but you throw a Warbeast in there as well. He's going to be hitting really hard with those auto attacks earlier on in this game and really all throughout, of course. So solid pick there coming out for Reason Gaming as now it's back in Sync's hands. And no, not a whole lot of extra time used so far at this point, but could possibly start diving into that now as things get a little more intriguing, you know, going off of what your teammates pick, or opponents, I should say.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Sync are going to pick up a Legionnaire as well, actually, because again, it's one of those passive or even greedy junglers per se, because you have to get passive. You don't really get the ability to get really that active too early on, and it's whether I think Insania believes that they can get away with it. Tempest and Warbeast already picked up for Reason, so they don't have the greatest ways of really maybe punishing the Legionnaire pickup as well. Legionnaire would be good though, has ways to deal with the Warbeast Stronger Head when he starts split pushing, for example. Another way of dealing with any Stronger Head heroes that might be picked up, like even Tempest or Warbeast, depending on how clutch Legionnaire can get taunts off, for example. Just something that might be picked up. Obviously Parasite was banned out, so is Ophelia. It would mean that Nymphora will be solo supporting, but like I said before, it's when you pick up Cupid Forest instead, then so it gives them a bit more pushing potential, but still even a second way to really deal with Tempest as well, which I've talked about before. Like although Kraken is obviously dead, so you can cancel Tempest Ultimate even if you've got a Shrunken Head, relying on that Kraken Ultimate is just a little bit risky. It's always nice to have at least two ways of dealing with the Tempest Ultimate through Shrunken Head.
Yeah, so they got a couple of those options down. Of course, one more classic example at stopping a Tempest than a Keeper of the Forest, so they're going to get their hands on that. I assume that's going to be a jungle Keeper of the Forest in the hands of Slap. That tends to be the less liked. I mean, even with all the nerfs to Keeper, he's still pretty powerful laner ultimately, or can be. But yeah, going to be running in the jungler. Obviously, has potential to be a very good jungler as well. So
this looks to be Kaze's pick here than the last pick. Because I think they're going to, like I said, Nymphora not the greatest in the laning phase, but if he's going to go against most likely a Suicide Deadwood, it shouldn't be too bad of a laning sort of situation, and that leaves Kraken 1v1 or solo mid.
Wait, you think it's going to be a Suicide Deadwood, not a Warbeast?
What do you know? Warbeast will be Suicide, sorry. Deadwood will be mid.
Gotcha.
Or, yeah, most likely Deadwood, Glacius mid, most likely. So yeah, I think that's Kaze's Suicide pick here.
Whoa! All right. They go with good old Balfagor. So they ought to keep her already. Why not throw some more push in there, they say. We've seen the idea of this before. They've talked about it. I want to say all the way back to Cycle 1. They actually ran it against Bad Monkey Gaming in the finals, if I'm not mistaken. They ran a Suicide Balfagor, and ultimately it did not really work out in the end. That game, at least, they did win the series, of course. But, yeah, so kind of going back to what they did in that first season, or first cycle even. Going to see if it works out here. So
Yeah, I think they just wanted some extra push to deal with. So, you're going against Warbeast Tempest. How do you do against that? Obviously, you can have a lot of counter push, so you can stop the push from Warbeast Tempest. But they had already picked up Dr. Pulsar, Nymphora, and Kraken, which themselves don't offer a lot of counter push. And then you could maybe finish off two other picks off that to get extra counter push, or you could just go the other alternative and just split push or push faster than Warbeast Tempest, and this is what the Balfagor pick offers them here. Also gives them a great team fight, and it just gives them a nice tanky frontliner as well to soak up a lot of damage from either the Warbeast or Deadwood. So I do like the pick. It just depends on how it's going to do in the laning phase. Why are we remaking?
He misclicked his skill. He actually leveled up his Invis. Keeper of the Forest did as his first ability. So yeah, usually not the strongest first keeper ability. You want to get those tree dogs, so.
But yeah, so that's Suicide Balfagor. I think if we're going to see its effectiveness, it's got to do okay in lane. If it gets shut down in lane, then I'm not a too big fan or big enough fan of its sort of effectiveness in this game. And remembering rightly, I mean, I thought it was going to be Deadwood Glacius mid, but with that Balfagor pick, they might try and punish the Balfagor pick in the offlane by putting Glacius bottom. And if they do that, then Balfagor's not one of those heroes that I think you can still you can't pull at level 1 though, because you have to get the minions. You need to get bodies first.
You need to get corpses,
yeah.
Unless they
do something really really crazy next level by with Congo. You are on the exact wavelength, man. With me. You use keeper minions to die from Congo. Then Balfagor will pick them up and then use. I guess you could just get Keeper of the Forest to pull for you instead. Actually, that would probably be the easier way of doing things. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think actually that might be a little bit better actually for maybe the run Glacius bottom, so then you can punish the Balfagor, because the Balfagor's not the greatest in the offline because it doesn't have an escape mechanism and can't really pull the lane unless he gets creeps to start with. So I think that could be one way, unless they want to maybe punish the Kraken. But we've seen time and time again where I think Mickey is 1v2 on the Kraken and he still gets 280 GPM, and so it's is it worth it kind of thing running a dual mid against him in that respect. But.
Yeah, Balfagor is a very intriguing hero. He's really he's considered definitely more of a niche hero, all about the push. Really, that's usually the lineup styles that we would see him in. Now of course, this isn't a all-out mass push by any means by Sync Esports, but they cut a lot of it with him. But of course, Keeper of the Force on top of that. But again, he does also bring a couple other tools to the table. One being the obvious, a lot of AOE teamfight presence. The Hell on New Earth. It's not an ability that you can underestimate, definitely, and it can do some good damage, especially once it gets those 80+ charges. But then his silence. I like to bring that up too when we see this hero, because it might be one of those you overlook. I know I do it. The demonic pathogen, as it's appropriately called. One of those really long names. Anyways, point being the silence ability that kind of spreads around. That could be annoying to deal against in this case if you're Region Gaming. So something else to keep in mind.
I think you're right that spell can do a lot of work, but I think it depends on the matchup though as well. So for example, if you're going against a Dr. Repulsor or maybe a Bubbles, for example, but I mean, you're going against a war beast. I guess it's okay to stop the metamorphosis in that respect. Maybe Tempest before Shrunken Head, but yeah, in terms of other games, it could have had a better effectiveness. But yeah, I think the hero is strong. But I think whenever we used to see its real dominant presence, I think I remember Stay Green somewhat used to run it short lane. Sometimes I've seen it before, and like you get a lot of farm, you get really tanky, pick up maybe the Helmblock Legion, maybe pick up the Barrier Idol, for example. But I don't think he's going to get that kind of farm, particularly not if Glacius is sent bottom as well to box him out. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to still see how Sega are going to run with him in terms of the effectiveness. I mean, they might even try and do something where they get him like level 3, level 4, and then rotate him over to the jungle as well, and just sort of share the jungle with Keeper of the Forest. Because although Keeper of the Forest is in the jungle, normally he only farms like the triple sort of camps, where like the easy camp, the medium camp, and the hard camp. So the pool camp and the other hard camp is still open to be farmed as well. So.
All right, well, we are still in the remake here, guys. Trust me, you're not missing out on anything. We're literally just sitting in the lobby waiting for them all to ready up and get back in. So I'm not sure if there's a issue with the lobby or if they just happen to be a little slow getting back in for whatever reason. But point is, still not in the game one just yet, so have to wait a little bit longer here, keep the hype going. As far as the grand finals finally being here for Cycle 8 again, the last series of the regular season. Not often we get to say that about a Haunter regular season. Of course, well, only happened twice before with Season 1 and 2. So here we are with Season 3. But again, in a sense, we're also just getting started because, as fun as this regular season has been results, and to an extent at the same time, Sync Esports very dominant. It's been a pretty similar idea and throughout all the seasons, to be fair. Obviously, Stay Green, especially in Season 2. Sure, BMG did trade off as well. So really the two teams kind of competed back and forth. But even Season 1, you had the Stay Green, aka TDM, and then Stay Green as well. So in that sense, I guess this was the first season where one team really was pretty dominant, to say the least, and of course that being Sync Esports. But that's really what's for me makes it more intriguing about the playoffs, especially that we're going to find out that other team, of course, Sync again, they already qualify, so they're not going to be a part of those playoffs, and that's the obvious of we don't need to worry about them winning it. It's a matter of which other team is going to take those playoffs, and of course win their trip to Thailand and compete against the best of the best in the world. Which, boy oh boy, that's going to be fun, man. And again, we keep going back to that too. As far as the international competition, this is the year, right? This is the year that they're going to be actually pretty competitive. Honestly, just they've had so much practice amongst themselves now, and they really are grinding their tournaments and leagues over there, and having a good time. So I'm intrigued to see what they bring to the table. As I know a lot of people are.
I'm really looking forward to sort of see the diversity in place on hero picks, actually. I think that's going to be kind of the coolest thing for me as a sort of a caster, because it's cool, obviously, seeing some strats from some teams, for example, like Tree, doing little weird things, but for a whole different region who have not even played against the international teams, I don't know. I think it's going to be awesome, nonetheless. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, again, I'm not sure what this issue is. Apparently, now we're having some lobby issues even, so all because that Nature's Veil, man. All because they leveled it up.
It's always Slap's fault, man.
Always Slap's fault. We might go on a short break right here because we're kind of just drawing it out now at this point, so let's just go on a short break again. We'll get this figured out here shortly, I'm sure, and jump back into it. But we're going to go maybe a minute break at the most. I'll keep you guys updated if anything. But yeah, we should be back pretty shortly here. So ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We got the grand finals coming at you. Sync Esports versus Reason Gaming. Just a little bit longer. But game one going to be coming at you. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back. as you can see, we are back. Resuming on with what is game number 1 here. All right, there we go. So, game number 1 coming at you guys. Repicked pretty quickly after I got all the issues figured out there. And we are officially good to go now. So, let's hope that no misclicks here. Well, no misclicks going for it. I'm making sure that everyone's on the same hero, I'd assume. Yeah, no change-ups there or anything. And that wasn't the reason for the remake after all, so... Okay, here we go. Again, a quick update too. Again, on the speaking of the playoffs, Monday, guys, on Monday, aka tomorrow, the portal, the website, it'll be released with all the information for it. And again, I really can't stress enough, it's going to be a really cool website, very informative, and there for you guys to get all the information you need on the World Finals and, of course, well, the playoffs beforehand that start this Tuesday. So, anyways, back to game number 1 here. Here we go, officially into the game and into the lanes. We now go. So again, the big discussion on this Balfagor, especially where he may end up in the end. You know, if he is going to be that suicide, getting assistance from Keeper perhaps to pull for him and get that lane control going. Nim 4 are going to be top lane with Dr. Pulsar. That's a pretty strong combo in itself. Of course, with that feeding the mana to Dr. Pulsar if need be, it can be a powerful synergy. But speaking of TP's prices, aka Chioli, you know, he's the one that plays a lot of the Nim 4 lately, and you know, we've seen instances where he just passes that up altogether. Goes to Volatile Pod, even max out. Some good damage from that, so as well as the heal. And honestly, you know, with this kind of a push team lineup, I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if he does decide to put levels into that Volatile Pod earlier. But
yeah, I mean, if we remember how Reason or Charlie plays him in particular, like he doesn't even touch the Grace of the Nymph. Remember when we had Nier on the interview, he said that sort of the new way to sort of play him. You max out the Q, max out the E, and just sort of leave W to last. And if they do that, then they'll have better kill potential on the War Beast. So it'll be interesting to sort of see if that's how they do it.
Zane sending out the Hellhounds, getting ready for the creep pull, of course. You look at the Keeper Dogs, they were trying to get in here, but Tempest boxing them out with Torturer. They're not going to be able to do so, so that's going to be a good news for this bottom lane. You do see about, okay, he was able to spawn some creeps.
Yeah, they went out to Congo and did
they?
exactly
Okay.
as we said. Yeah. But that one's getting, this one's going to get through though, so it is.
Yeah, no, very little. Not
it
enough.
might be enough though. Is it going to be in yeah, it's going to be in tower range. So this is actually
yeah.
This is good. So he's going to get lane control, and this is exactly as the laning situation, as I sort of mentioned. Glacier has been sort of rotated down the bottom here.
Wait
so
a
they are going
second.
to try and box it.
Am I? Wow, that totally passed. I'm sorry. The Torturer playing the carry role here.
Yeah,
well, double check that.
Yeah, I mean, and this is even worse right now because now they've lost lane control. He's going to get a lot of free experience and even a bit of farm as well, as if he can use aggro mechanics to sort of bring it back to him, which KZ always does like that. Get a few last hits here and there. And Torturer is one of those heroes. I've mentioned it before, but Torturer is a hero that can easily 1v1. And if you're playing a hero that can 1v1, when you get babysat by another support, I don't see it. Just loses its effectiveness. Like Torturer can easily 1v1, and so if you need a sort of support, then maybe you're wasting resources a little bit. In this case, I do agree that this is what they need to do. But obviously, with them losing lane control, it's a little bit of a foul in that respect.
Yeah.
But he has pulled here, so he's going to hopefully deny most of this creep wave and get a little bit of lane control back. But yeah, so far I think Sync are doing okay in the lane phase.
Yeah, I mean, I personally was so caught up with the Balfagor final pick, especially now we're talking a lot about that it really just passed me that we were seeing a Torturer carry role here being played by Imba Boy. So that is definitely intriguing in itself. Of course, not really his typical carry hero, but
yeah, definitely. And I was going to say, and I can assure you that they wanted to have a 1v1 matchup here, but when they saw the Balfagor, they thought, let's make sure that we try and shut him down if we can, and put the Glaciers down here. So, yeah, that last pick on Balfagor was definitely taken Reason by surprise, but
yeah.
We're talking late game presence in this game. It's just going to be Tempest and Warbeast. Torturer is going to do okay, obviously, in the late game, but he's going to definitely scale off. I was thinking of those whether they're going to pick up maybe like a more of a playmaker or something that they can gank with the Deadwood. I mean, Torturer can okay, but it depends if he picks up a portal key as well, which is not really something that Torturer would do. He'd probably want to go for like an Icon, for example, or similarly play him like an Oogie in that respect. But
oh, yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah, beefing up, yeah, like I said, an Icon of the Goddess wouldn't be out of the question. And maybe even something like a Gnome's Wisdom. I know we've seen that too, but that seems like it's more about push. You're going to be pushing then.
Exactly.
Which
I guess they could be,
potential,
They got decent Tempest, I guess, but it just doesn't seem the more like, it doesn't seem like the Reason style of play, does it? Like, Reason are like, look for those kills, look for those openings, and go from there. That's why they picked up the Deadwood. But normally, if you're looking for pickoffs, like, Deadwood doesn't really have the ability to like solo kill anyone except for maybe the Nymphora. But with another hero, then he could do it. But
it's not guaranteed. I mean, he did get a ring of the Teacher, so that could be an insight into it. But yeah, it's not like he has to turn that in to Gnome's Wisdom either. Middle lane, a little back and forth.
Wow.
Bottom lane, Balthagor goes down. Yeah, double stun. Ice into the Torture stun. Kind of caught that at the very end there, but that on top of the glowing red hands.
Yeah, it's Battle Pro did a lot of work, to be fair. But yeah, they're playing this well though, and they're shutting down that Balthagor. Like I said, if they can shut down the Balthagor to make sure he doesn't have a lot of effectiveness in this game, I think they'll do well. Because Balthagor, yeah, I mean his spells are okay, but he wants to be that beefy, tanky lineup in the front of the team fight. And if he doesn't have the farm, he won't be that beefy, tanky sort of kind of hero. So shutting him down in lane is going to be very important.
All right, so that's obviously a big start there for Reason Gaming. Of course, Boy on Torture picking it up, so that's even more important as to why they got that. Deadwood and Kraken continuing to go out of here in the middle lane. Kraken is currently 24-1. Deadwood 22-4. We talked about that. Deadwood already such a hard-hitting hero on the laning phase with that hatchet, with the log, but you throw the glowing red hands on top of that from Warbeast. It's ridiculous how hard he can be hitting early on in the game. So not a big surprise, but.
Yeah, they're just trading farm at the moment. They don't really have an ability to kill either each other. Both tanky strength heroes, and I mean they both do a lot of burst, but maybe it's going to take actually a rotation from Balthagor, which he is setting up to do actually. Kraken's level 6 though. I don't think they can kill him without level 6. But they're going to try though.
Release the Kraken, Regurgitate coming up all over the place. Rotten Grasp at will hit Balthagor. He's going for the counter kill actually. He might get it in the end, but he does fall. No, not going to be enough damage to get the counter kill.
A little bit short. I thought he could have been fine, honestly. Like if he just ran.
Yeah, if he just kept going past the tower.
Yeah, Kraken was in level 6. I thought he could have just run away, but decides to man up, go for the big play, but fails.
Yeah, the best case scenario he would have got a turn kill after he died. So yeah, that really was a questionable decision, most certainly coming out from Embry right there, playing that Deadwood. But yeah, went for the man up, didn't pay off in the end. And does die with no casualties as a result. This is kind of another fun thing with Balthagor, of course, using his minions right here to kind of protect the lane a little bit, but at the same time also giving them some free farm. So maybe not as powerful as I was thinking, and I think Casey was thinking, but still. He's back at base, going to be TPing in shortly here, I'm sure, because this tower taking some good damage. Middle lane, the Falcon Punch doing enough damage to take out Kraken. On top of the auto attacks, I'm guessing the Rotten Grasp connected. Allowed him
That's
to
a really big kill, actually, because after that gank from Balthagor, I thought it was going to look bad, but after that kill, he's the same level and the same farm as Kraken, so really well played by Embry there.
Yeah. That's big indeed, and Deadwood 350 gold per minute. I mean, a lot of gold already in this game. In fact, 430 GPM on Torture, just over 400 on Dr. Repulsor, however. So, really, both teams got a lot of positive notes happening for them. It is that slight advantage so far in favor of Reason Gaming, but of course still very early on. But speaking of push, here we go. I mean, Reason Gaming, they're going to be massively pushing this bottom lane as Tempest comes in, hitting level 6. You do see the top lane, similar situation up here, although they do not have Keeper of the Forest just yet. He is coming in right now, though, so going to spawn those tree dogs and push in the tower. But yeah, Reason Gaming gets the first impact freeze on a Balthagor. Torture, the stun does connect, and Tempest get in range. He cannot. And I think that might be the difference maker. They're not going to die. Torture wants it. No, he takes a lot of damage as a result. But he can't get it in the end.
That was actually insanely well played there by Kato. Actually, mid lane Kraken going out with Devil, but yeah, Kato actually was blocking Torturer with his corpse conversion minions. Actually, a couple of auto attacks from Torturer would have secured the kill there, but they didn't. But yeah, they're just trading. This is exactly what I thought that was going to happen, and this is the sort of the game plan here from Sync. Instead of sort of stopping the push from Reason, they'll just get trades with their own push, and that's what they're doing right now.
Here we go. Impalement activated. It's level 3, so a lot of damage. So yes, the top secondary goes down first, but will they get the bottom secondary? I think all bonus bid has already been used. So deny maybe? Oh, nice stun of the creeps. Well played by Boy right there. That's clearly what KZ was going for, but it does not allow him to do so. Even attempted. But yeah, already seeing both teams having 2 towers killed. Even a secondary. Pretty crazy, but it's not too surprising with the lineups that we have here. Going at it. So, pretty crazy stuff, though. Middle end in the meantime, Deadwood. He catches Dr. Repulsor. Is it going to be enough? Oh. No, we got pulled in! And he can't get it off. Well played by Flensmeister. Just enough lockdown to prevent the Willowmaker. And Embry can't pick it up as a result. In fact, he needs to be careful a little bit. He throws out a Rotten Grass as a ward of sight placed down. The tower's taking some good damage. They're rotating over, though, so this is not going to be a free push from Sync. and actually will fall back. But wow, that was close right there.
Really nice idea for Sync to try and get the tower mid, because obviously they were completely trading before that. They was both trading their own safe lane farm, but then the only way that either team can really get ahead is if they try and get the tier 1 tower mid before the other one does. So Sync had a nice idea, but just reason we're a little bit too quick to rotate there.
Look at Torture. Torture going the Sackstone, by the way, so it does make a point to bulk up on that armor and, you know, a big team fight item. And, again, we'll expect to see those. That, the Astrolabes, the Soul's Bulwark, even sooner or later, Abyssal Skull is going to be pretty important. So, yeah, there's going to be a lot of these team support items kicking in this game. And, you know, as we even talked about, possibly something like a Gnome's Wisdom wouldn't be out of the question because we have so much pushing team fight potential here. So, bottom lane, here comes the, double damage Deadwood. Now the Rotten Grasp in the wrong direction. Casey was able to pick up on that in time. He does avoid death right there as a result, so good job on his part. Warbeast has been spending a lot of time on these Ancients in the meantime. So, not at the top lane, he's too scared.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the most efficient way to get farmed. Top lane is pretty in fear of dying. Middle lane is getting farmed by Torture, and the jungle himself is getting farmed by Tempest. So it's the only way he can really get farm. He's got a good farm actually, 300 GPM. I've had a lot of farm here from Reason, and that's the reason why they're slowly, or just slightly, above in farm actually. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of what you expect though from a mirror matchup though. Both playing exactly the same game, really. Both looking for the push, both looking for the team fight. It's going to come down to the first couple of team fights. I think whoever wins the first maybe 2 or 3 is most likely going to take this game, just because that's the style they have to play. They can't really play any other way than go head to head and sort of just a battle of team fights.
Yeah.
So yeah, those team fights are going to mean so much more because of that.
Look at Deadwood here, nearly 1,500 gold saved up. I mean, he's well on his way to his portal key, and he has some good build-up, too. He has the bottle, has full steam boot, so it's not like he's sacrificing something else to get it quickly. Again, farming 400 gold per minute, that'll do it. I just can't get over how much gold is in this game right now. It's pretty ridiculous. If we'd have had Quincy here, you know, we'd get a better idea what those percentages even, but I'm sure they'd be up there of nearly 100% as far as efficiency goes. Yeah, you see the double stack of the Ancients. In fact, Reason Gaming was in the area almost as if they're going to go to steal them, but that was more for rune control, I guess. Take the bottom rune.
In the bottom lane down here, they either need to secure a kill on the Balfour or at least get the lane back to where it is in the tier 1 tower, because otherwise Sync are going to be farming 3 lanes and Reason are only kind of farming 1. So, and as you can see, they've hit like 1.3k. I got him.
There we go. Willowmaker, Falcon Punch nice. Comes out, an easy kill, and there's the TP. Yeah, he was sniping that Rotten Grasp and it hit him.
Yeah, because now it doesn't even matter where the lane is because no one's farming it because they killed Balfour. So really nice pick off there from Embre.
Close. Yeah, again, this is another one of these heroes that's beginning more and more attention on the scene, especially in the hands of Reason Gaming, and showing why what right here once again. Embre close to that portal key now. Top lane. Dr. Post, they want to kill. Rotten Grass lands. He does not have his Willowmaker, though. There's the freeze, however. Glacial Downpours it enough. It's not. If he had a Willowmaker, I mean, that's guaranteed. It's Warbeast. Oh, yeah, he's out of mana. This could be something, actually. Now, he does have Keeper of the Forest coming in and Forest TPing in as well. That's a good TP. They're going to get caught, though, by the Rotten Grass, but that just prevents them from following. All right, very close. So they did bait out a Nymphora TP defensively, at least, so there is a little bit of a victory there, I guess. As Torture pushing the middle end in the meantime right now. But, yeah, Deadwood is going to get his portal key. In fact, there you go. Purchases it. Again, intrigued to see which route Torture does go. Will it be that Gnome's Wisdom? Will it be more perhaps the Icon or perhaps even something else? Hell, something like a Grimoire Power. Get that intelligence damage even. Increase wouldn't be out of the question. But yeah, he's also a hero that, of course, a shrunken head eventually is going to be pretty important. You know, he wants to be able to stand in the midst of those fights, activate that torment. It's kind of an awkward item, though. You know, kind of like a Doctor Repulsor, to be fair, where he also needs some good mana and especially mana regen with all the abilities he's using. Yeah,
whenever I talk about Doctor Repulsor, I think the perfect way you can play him is you pick up 2 mana regeneration items and then go for the shrunken head. Some games you're forced to go earlier than later, but I think Torture, depending on his farm, he might be able to get away with it. He's got 440 GPM right now. I think he should still go Icon and sort of almost... He is going to go Mighty Blade though, so it looks like he's just going to go for the Shrunken Head straight away. And that could be good though, because it's definitely going to get it before Dr. Repulsor. So they might actually have that slight advantage over in the early team fights, and they can definitely force those team fights by because of the push.
Yeah.
They can force those objectives, and Sync, I don't think they're going to want to sort of get it up for free. So that could be the reason why he's picking up and just going to maybe negate the Icon till later, just for that early timing window.
Well, yeah, and again, even a little bit more to that. He's still only level 8, so it's not like he's up there with he only has Impalement and his stun right now. I mean, sure, he's going to start leveling up his Agonizing Bonds, I'm sure. But, you know, the mana really doesn't kick in until he levels up that Torment, you know, around especially at the level 16 mark. That's where he really wants to make sure he has a good amount of mana regen to keep that on. So, honestly, even something like a Staff of the Master wouldn't be out of the question. It actually is a pretty powerful tool on Torturer. Not only increases the damage, but silences, no longer toggle it off. So things like the Demonic Pathogen, and of course stuns in general. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, the stuns, Kraken gets locked down as that Willowmaker more than enough damage. It is still level 1. Tempest runs in. The ultimate only catches Balfagor, though. Keeper of the Force will stop it off to the side. Took a bit of time, however. Astral APO comes out. Look at Torture in the meantime in the front lines. Has that Torment leveled. Is activated and doing some good damage. Will it be enough damage, though? Does he have the mana pool for enough? No, they are going to fall back and going to be fine. So far, only one player dead still in that Kraken initially. I mean, Warbeast wasn't here this, or I guess he was there, so.
Oh my god, Balfagor was an 8 HP. The Wolves kept on chasing him, but he was 8 HP. Oh my god, that was so close, but just secured the thing. But
only one player died. Wow.
Yeah, the Tempest from near was a little bit. If he caught the Keeper of the Forest as well, that could have been 2 or 3 and would have completely wiped the team fight, but unfortunately, the Tempest was a little bit worse for wear. Warbeast did get involved and trying to get involved in the team fight. I don't know if that was the best decision or not. He does give a tiny bit, but like in terms of his effectiveness, his early levels, he really does very, very little outside the battle cry, but that can come from global anyway. Nice pick-off actually with the Nymphora TP.
Yep, happened to catch that right there. Ports in with Nymphora. Dr. Pulsar finds a very low Deadwood and easy kill set up as a result. So of course that's Nymphora's power coming out right there. And now the Icon of the Goddess getting some charges. Are they going to keep going? Yeah.
Maybe. Like, that's the beauty of the Nymphora in this lineup as well, because not only can she sort of assist in terms of maybe the volatile pod and healing, but she gets one pick-off and then they can get so much objective just because of that one advantage in the pick-off.
Now making a note, actually, there's the charge initiation on a Tempest. Charges into the tower, doesn't have an ultimate at core. It's going to be locked out, will get killed. Kraken taking some good damage. Deadwood is porting with a level 2 Willowmaker, by the way. He is here, ready to go. No, he's not able to get a jump off, though. And Tempest the only one that I guess Kraken did get as well. Nice Ron Grass, fuck him, but down goes Keeper, as if he wasn't even there from the beginning. Warbeast has ulti form ready to go. Will he activate it? Not just yet. Hellhounds are coming out. Nymphora will TP away. They will counter ward instead, and that should be, no, maybe not. Okay, never mind. Dr. Pulsar able to ludicrous speed away in the end. Balfagor invis, he's going to just run away next to Warbeast right there. But no one there to catch him. So, yeah, that started with the charge and jump onto Tempest, but Deadwood was just coming up, so that was pretty bad timing, honestly, on Sync's part on when to go. And now here comes a counter push. They're going to see a lot of this game.
Yeah, like I say, it's a mirror matchup, so whenever either team gets an advantage, either team will just try and actually return it.
TP'd in Kraken. Torture taking the damage as a result. Again, that's a farmed Torture right here. Now your support Torture, so he's tanky a little bit, but not tanky enough. And ultimately falls right there. So again, Nymphora power coming into play. I want to comment on Nymphora's build, by the way. He is choosing to pass up Volatile Pod. In fact, has maxed out his stun and even has 3 points now in the Grace of the Nymph. So
it's gonna be useful though, particularly in these early engagements. He didn't have a hard time in the lane, so like he's against a Warbeast in the lane, so like you can't really maybe almost threaten a kill, so he's completely missed up the volatile pod, and just to help out maybe Doctor Repulse in these early levels with the mana regeneration can be very, very useful. So I think it's fine, and also like for example with the tanky strength heroes like Kraken, Keeper of the Forest and Balfagor, the extra mana regeneration just keep them topped off, especially in like the lengthy team fights, it's going to be useful. So.
Yeah. We got Warbeast pushing up this top lane, letting his Hellhounds do most of the work. He's making sure not to get caught out himself, and playing it pretty safe again. He has that Abyssal Skull, so goes out to big item. Bottom lane Tempest, he ports out. They didn't see him in time. Able to make the getaway. Yeah, no porta-key or anything like that. He just simply got in that spot as he saw them coming.
Yeah, so this is actually a really nice play from Reason. They were trying to pressure the tier 1 tower top and trade almost to the map control in the bottom lane, although there's a lot of people here. They're going to try and go for Dr. Pulsar. The Q misses though. Oh,
top lane. Yeah, up here, Dr. Pulsar is going to survive initially with that on grass miss. And 4 TP'ing in, and they will catch Deadwood as a result. He goes down. The tower was destroyed by Zane, but sure, they lose Dr. Repulsor, so that's a pretty big deal. Meanwhile, middle lane ports in. Torture is starting to get away now. He's being slowed down by Balfagor, puts a stun out, but Kraken stuns him. And there's the hell on Newer to make sure to finish him off, so Torture gets caught out.
Yeah, this
middle lane as
Nympho
well.
pick is actually doing a lot of work. They're giving him so much mobility as well to react to anything that Reason do. I was going to say that Reason did the right choice as well, because I think we're actually rotating into the enemy jungle to try and like sort of limit the resources from Reason, try and take map control, and Reason try and trade with getting a 2-1 tower top. But with the Nympho TP, there's just so much mobility, and Sync are always there to sort of, respond to anything that Reason try and do.
Yeah. It does seem like Sync's starting to gain some pretty good momentum here, so Reason Gaming going to have to make sure to thwart that here in the near future if they don't want to get too out of hand. And, that starts with a hero like Dr. Repulsor, of course, against 6 charges now on the Icon of the Goddess. Still nothing too radical, but starting to add up here. You got Balfagor. This is a Balfagor that was struggling early on. He's nearly 300 gold per minute now. He's providing a lot of team assistance here. With that Abyssal Skull just finished, he has a Plated Greaves as well, so, of course, very useful for pushing with this team of his. And impactful items, and in fact, the Soul's Bulwark now starting to be in the works here. Kraken close to finishing that. Another, what's going to be a big item pickup, of course, coming out. But speaking of big item pickups, the Shrunken Heads on the Legion side. Here we go, Nympho again.
Nympho to be.
Bottom lane, they want Torturer. Torturer's going to run right into Kraken. He thinks he's fine. He dodges the Kraken stun. He's in trouble, though, because here comes Dr. Repulsor. All of a sudden, TP's coming in. Glacius Tempest, they're here, but they can't get there in time. However, Deadwood from the side as well. They're collapsing on them. They have numbers right now. Freeze on a Balfagor. Will this be enough damage? Ultimately, Falcon Punch it will finish off Balfagor, but at what cost here? Dr. Repulsor and Kraken and Nympho are all still here. In fact, Tempest gets charged away. He's in trouble. He will end up falling. His ultimate got canceled pretty quickly right there. And now Warbeast and Deadwood on the run. Will they somehow escape? Not Deadwood. Warbeast looks like he will be fine, but Deadwood not so much. So that all started with the kill and a torture. They thought they could have at least got some revenge. They underestimated how many were actually there for Sync and their fighting power, and clearly Sync Esports did them in. So yeah, this Nympho pick though clearly proving to be the very effective pick for them.
Yeah, definitely. And like we talk about Nympho being used in sort of maybe gank sort of lineups, or even sort of late game sort of style of lineup for sort of the split pushing sort of style. But even in these team fights and push metas, they're finding a way to use it and utilize it very, very well. It's 4-0-3 right now, and there's so much work. And Reason, like they're doing good, but Sync are just getting that extra little pick off, maybe the extra tower, the extra sort of creep kill, and it's making a difference, particularly in the mirror versus mirror matchup, because whoever gets that slight advantage is going to come out ahead, because the strategy is exactly the same. So it depends on who plays it better and who has the advantage. In this case, it is Sync, and Reason, they need to do something different, and otherwise, Sync are going to take this game, unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, again, that momentum just continues to go up and up. You do see him for nearly 1,800 gold saved up right now, and he already has Steam Boots and Mystic Vestment. So again, Insania just living the normal life that he does as a support for Sync Esports, and actually going to Void Talisman. We had some controversy yesterday about that. Today,
I like this one.
It makes more sense definitely this game, though.
Yeah, Warbeast and Deadwood, especially, can do a lot of work as well. And not only that, because if the game, or if the team fight can be delayed for whatever reason, particularly for Nympho, then the extra stun, for example, the extra grace of the Nymph, or even the volatile pod can do a lot of work. Top lane, Deadwood.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they realized pretty quickly they're overstepping their boundaries right here. Now Deadwood's in a lot of trouble. Nympho TP's in. It's just Nympho at least. So
here comes
that
keeping
might
the
be a
force,
saving grace, maybe
and
not.
Kraken.
Here comes Kraken with a haste. Keeping the force. That locks down Warbeast right there, just as he went LT form, hoping to get away. He gets charging it, did not stun him though. And actually at the haste speed, he might somehow be able to get away. No, Kraken does have the haste as well, though. And he's got a porta key in 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. It's not even necessary. Trying to juke right there. It's not going to happen, though. A double tap for Mickey and Reason Gaming. They got to realize this is getting out of hand very quickly now. I mean, this is all happened. Very good timing by Sync, because this is just before Shrunken Heads are starting to appear on both Torture and Warbeast. And by all means, those could have made a big difference on how things have been going right here.
Yeah, definitely. Similar to going back to the last series with Tree, like the Shrunken Heads would be perfect this game. Everything almost counters it. Outside of maybe Kraken Splash and a little bit of Dr. Repulsor's right clicks, Shrunken Heads would do so much work in this game, but they just can't seem to find it, because I think they're so good at forcing these fights. Maybe a tiny bit of an overextension from Reason, and then Sync just punish it instantly. And now Sync, they've got complete map control. They've got an incredible golden experience advantage, and now they're going to start taking control of the enemy jungle, and then take over Congo, and then when they're ready, start going high ground. And that could be right now. But
look at that glacial downpour. I mean, it's pretty good use of it, though. Honestly, just clears out the creep wave very quickly. That was there with the keeper and Balfagor's meetings as well, so get some decent farm out of even. But yeah, they will stall the push further. But I don't think Sync was really had any plans to go further, of course, as they were resurrecting. So as we're talking about, yes, we do see the Shrunken Heads now, but was it too much damage already done is the question that I'm sure is on Reason's mind, especially. Nymphora, she's going to be caught here by Tempest, actually. Silence comes out. Here's a slow from Glacius. Again, oh, God, look at that's a freaking support Nymphora. Oh, my God, she got out. Oh, that's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt if you're Reason Gaming. She didn't even use the voice. I mean, the Willowmaker actually connected right there, and yet she still didn't die. That's a support Nymphora.
Man, she's got 1200 HP with strength strats, man.
Yeah.
That value bracelet doing work.
Apparently. Well, that's, again, got to be pretty discouraging for Reason Gaming, but hey, the game goes on. Still worth fighting for, definitely. Yeah,
and they do have one Shrunken Head now on Torturer, so although they are 10,000 gold behind and the team fights are not looking very good because of that 10,000 gold lead, they have a chance because of that Shrunken Head, and I think Wolbeast is maybe about 1,000 gold away from his as well. If he can get that, and even maybe the Tempest one, maybe there is a chance here from Reason, but at the moment, it's looking very, very grim. Sync haven't started to rotate into the enemy jungle yet to start sort of restricting the sort of farm here from Reason, but Congo is definitely on their minds. Maybe they're waiting for the Hellfire and Doctor Repulsor before they start making any big team decisions.
All right, you got 3 players here for Reason Gaming in the middle lane. What's up?
Doctor just picked it up in bottom lane.
Oh, yeah, bottom lane. Yeah, there we go. Doctor goes in. Will he catch Tempest? Yes, he will. Tempest going to be stopped. Hellfire applied, and he gets pulled in and eventually killed off. So he had an ultimate, but again, with no support nearby, not worth using it right there, of course. So,
and just, like, I mean, Doctor Repulsor like punishes any kind of overextension because there's how mobile he actually is, and then you put that in Nymphora as well, and it's just like, what did you do? Oh,
yep, Deadwood. Well, they catch Balfagor, so finally some positive. But here comes the Nymphora again, right on top of them. They're going to start collapsing now. Hellfire applied to Deadwood. Of course, they know he doesn't have the Willowmaker at the very least. Jumping in, keeping the force with that new portal key, and down goes Deadwood. I want to say Nymphora's ultimate has gotten at least 1 kill every time.
Every single time. It's just doing too much work. It really is, and we're talking about people doing work, and this carry Torturer just isn't. Like its effectiveness at all is just very, very minimal. Like you could even argue about the Nymphora is doing a lot more work than Torturer at the moment, and she's playing support.
You know, I got to give it up to Insania. We know he's a good player and everything, but just yesterday, too, in that long game against Racing Game, and his Mora player was off the charts that game, too. So, playing some really strong support as of late.
It's true. Yeah.
Usually he just kind of blends in and, you know, does his thing. But
feeds. Yeah.
Feeds, and they have to carry him for the most part. But he's actually been doing pretty all right here as of late. Warbeast, so he's like, oh, hi, Keeper, I'm going to run away now.
Like, just because of that one interaction, like, Keeper just farming the enemy agents, and he even gets spotted, and he's just like, yeah, I don't care. Like, just from that one interaction, you know the mindset of Reason, and you know the mindset of Sync as well. They're just not afraid anymore. It's a small thing, but it's something that should be mentioned as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and look, this 13.5 thousand gold lead, nearly a 15,000 experience lead here for Sync Esports. So, again, already coming into this series, 1-0 advantage, coming from the winner's bracket as usual for them. They're on the verge of going 2-0, so it's definitely, again, on the mind of Reason Gaming, and that's a tough spot to be in, but hey, it's still means you're in the series ultimately, so that's the good thing for Reason Gaming, of course.
Oh, Nymphora to be
Here we go again, bottom lane. And just like that, Tempest, he's in trouble. Glacius is nearby. He's like, I'm here, don't worry. Not much I can do because he freezes, and that's it. Root Impact hits, and now Glacius is going to fall victim. You see the supporting gas are trying to get here in time, but they can't. Oh, jeez. Insania ends up getting both those kills, too.
I think this game is it's over.
Yeah.
Simply, like, because it's if Reason were playing a different strategy, like for example, going late game or even game, then there might be a slight chance. It would be a big one, but it'd be a slight chance. But as they're playing mirror matchup, it all comes down to metrics. And at the moment, Sync of 17,000 on both gold experience at the moment, and they're pressuring high ground. Even without Congo, they just don't feel the need to get it. Like, yes.
Vulnerability popped right there. Again, Reason Gaming just trying to do anything they can to stick into this game for the time being, but they're going to need an all-in right here. They go for it. Dr. Pulsar, that's a Willowmaker. He still has plenty of life. Oh, it's dropping quickly, though, but the release, the Kraken pulls him in. on top of one another, and they just all fall to pieces. Tempest is going to be resurrecting right here. Maybe that could be something. He still has his ultimate, but Warby's going to run into ulti form. Not much longer right there. Tempest now, he's in the front lines. Again, he has that ultimate, but it just doesn't matter. He gets pulled in. GG, well played. Game 1, and now a 2-0 lead in favor of Sync Esports as a result right there. It just once they got it going, it didn't stop basically. And God, no doubt MVP didn't 4 though with the EP. So that was ridiculous, that game.
Yeah, definitely. And Nivoro had such a big impact, and obviously so did Doctor Repulsor as well. Just the combo of them two was too much. And we went back to the draft as well. They didn't get punished with it. They ran a Doctor Repulsor near Nivoro in the lane, which is so greedy. Pair that with like a Keeper of the Forest in the jungle as well, but they didn't have the heroes to punish it with. They already had the Warbeast and Tempest in the first picking phase, and there's nothing else they could do with the last 2 picks. I want to go back to sort of the Torture as well. The hero didn't have really any real effectiveness in the game. Maybe the first couple of team fights he was okay, but particularly after in the mid game he just fell off completely. But the thing I really want to mention though is that if you think about the lineup and the strategy here of Reason, it feels very SG-esque or even Sync-esque, more appropriately. And if you're playing another team's strategy, and you're playing that team that almost plays that strategy to perfection, in this case Sync, you're almost assuming that we are going to play this strategy better than you to win the game. And you can't do that. You simply can't do that. The reason have got into this stage by playing their own strategy. They've been playing their own game, finding pickoffs perfectly, going late game with Immerboy, and then they try and play this strategy. And of course, they can't play it better than Sync. So don't try it in that respect. Play your own game and do something different. Because at the moment, if you try and copy Sync, and you're already copying the masters of the strategy. And in the end, the master is always better than the apprentice. So
yeah, I think
Reason. Something different.
Well, yeah, I think Sync Esports too. Again, the draft